People are just bustling through the lobby right now. They're getting coffee. They're rolling their suitcase out, rolling through, going to conferences, and I am live. Welcome in, welcome in. This is a 14,000 live stream, 14,000K achieved, and we're celebrating. We're also celebrating a 10-year wedding anniversary. So come on in and celebrate with me. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. You might also have been subscribed and you're hanging out, and this is just a momentous occasion. Love, love the day. Tonight we're going to a special dinner. I'll get more into that a little later. And I don't do live streams all that much, so you let me know if I'm doing it right. Because I'm typically uh, a travel creator, so a lot of the times I'm on location, I'm filming, I'm getting B-roll, taking you with me on the experience. You know, we travel all over the U.S. We've been over into Europe. We went a year ago. We went to Iceland, and right now we're sitting at the JW Marriott in Orlando, and we're celebrating you. Very excited about that. Celebrating you, helping me grow my channel, and I try to help you learn and grow through the channel. So it's kind of a very zen, full circle experience. Start a whole question. Put this here. Make it smaller. Yeah, there you go. Our Q&A. Cool. We are live here experiencing what it's like to have 14,000 subscribers on YouTube. And we are here in the lobby of the JW Marriott. And it is just a surreal time of our lives. We're also celebrating 10 years of our wedding anniversary. Super fun. We're going out to a fantastic dinner tonight, and we're going to celebrate those 10 years. Once a couple people get in here, I will probably take you around for a little bit of a tour and show you what it's like um, here at the Marriott. Everybody's just getting their coffees, they're getting into the day, hanging out, living a dream. If you've joined, say hello. Let's see, how's your day going today? I see people coming in. I see them going out. They must be scrolling through the feed. Welcome, welcome. Celebrating 14,000 subscribers. Never thought I'd even get to 1,000. It was so hard to get to 1,000, and we are now here at 14,000. We're shooting towards 20,000. So if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Help me grow to 20,000 subscribers. The goal is to travel and learn and grow. It's me and my wife, Amy, who's kind of shy on camera, um, but she makes her appearances, and also Ellie, who loves the camera. She's always trying to be on camera and be a part of the mix. She really likes it. Oh, thanks for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. Hopefully, you've been watching our channel a long time. We started it right around the pandemic. Um, it was like, let's start a YouTube channel. And then the pandemic happened. And we were like, well, I guess we're not traveling. So if you go back and watch our earlier videos, we did a little bit of like regional travel. We went to like waterfalls in Western North Carolina. We went to like upstate North Carolina. We explored forests and outdoor areas. We did like the trends, the Dalgona trends. Were you a part of the Dalgona trends where you whip the coffee up really, really strong, and then you pour some cream in it, and kind of like a Southeast Asia, you find that Dalgona. It was a huge trend. Everybody was making that video, so I have that on there as well. And what else? We did some reviews, some like Roku, which is like some of the top videos on my channel. Go back to the beginning, like 16, 18,000 views. Um, and that was all during lockdown. So as the lockdown changed, we started to do different things. I think we went to St. Lucia. We did a lot of Orlando. We're in Orlando now. We're at the JW Marriott, and we did a lot of Orlando, but it was a different time back then. And this is 14,000 subscribers later. You look back and you reflect on your channel and how it's changed and morphed and grown, and it is surreal. Like back then we were in the Animal Kingdom, middle of the day, Animal Kingdom Lodge, and they had to open the DVC resorts because they were like, timeshare is like a second home, so they had to open up for the people that had ownership. So I remember being at the Animal Kingdom Lodge, Jumbo House, the main lodge, and it was completely and utterly empty. There was nobody there. There was one person at the desk. All the shops, like Johari Treasures, they were all closed. Nothing was open. Jico closed. Boma closed. And you stand there. I remember I was up on the second floor on the bridge, just looking down, and I think I have a video from there showing how quiet and like how surreal it was, um, during that time. Even the parks. I remember. This is like a trip down memory lane, but I remember the parks were they had those like stickers. Do you remember? They were like social distancing stickers, and it was interesting because like it was scary because it was COVID, but people are always on top of each other. And I remember being in lines pre-COVID, people bumping into me, leaning against me, like hitting me with their backpack, and then like the social distancing, like it was just like ironic because everybody was forced to space out, and it was actually kind of pleasant just to sit in those circles, bubbles. And there wasn't a lot of people going there, so the ride line times were like really low. There was a lot of like rules. You had to like have a reservation, you had to have a ticket, and then you had to be checked, and you had to have your mask. And so those were those early days. But shortly after that, I think we took off on the channel. We went to St. Lucia. We did our first like real travel series. There's a three-parter in St. Lucia, and that was just it was exceptional. Like to come out of a lockdown, and we were going for a wedding for um, one of our friends was getting married there, and they were still in somewhat of a lockdown, but you were able to travel there. And we drove. You know, our hotel was actually the opposite side of the island, So we rented a car and we drove to the mountains. And if you haven't seen that series, it's really wicked. You drive through these really winding, these roads that kind of just wind back and forth through the mountains and through these little towns of people from living in St. Lucia. And you're going up these vertical cliffs and rocks. And we had this little hatchback car, and the roads were so narrow. We went to this beach called Ants Chastanet. Ants Chastanet. I don't know how I never can pronounce anything properly, but we went to the Ants Chastanet beach, and we had lunch, and we had some rum punches and some beers, and I went snorkeling, and then we drove to the other side of the island, which was like just 3 hours of back and forth and back and forth, and like just wild. Oh, there's a lot of pups here today. A lot of pups here today. Oh, oh, so many pups here. Oh, I met that one the other day, like a little mini golden doodle. Um, but yeah, we drove over to the Marriott. It was a Marriott property. It was called the Royalton. It was like the Royalton, I think it was called. It had an amazing reef right out front for snorkeling. I mean, I saw not even that. Not even that. It was actually our hotel room had a pool attached to the back balcony. It was one of those like walk out and be in your pool kind of thing. But the reef had like really cool. Like I saw my first lionfish. Broke my first camera. Broke my first camera. Like I don't know what happened. Maybe like the salt or something. Like going into the water, it basically died because it got inundated with water. Um, Beautiful blue waters of St. Lucia. Fantastic, like gorgeous, deep blues. The food was really good. A lot of fresh seafood and just delicious, like drinks and food and people. People were super nice. Very, very, very humbled folk there in the Caribbean. Great performers. And we went around. We went to breweries. We went to markets. That was all done. That was all done during um, the peak of COVID, like 2022. I think we went there right after the first lockdown year, and the rest of the world was still opening up, and we still had to wear masks like indoors and stuff. But it was really it was very surreal. And then we also did a couple of my other really famous on my channel, like best videos. We went to Savannah. We did two videos in Savannah, which did very well for whatever reason. They took off, and they're still every day. They're on my top like 10 videos for people watching. So a lot of people could do like day trips, weekend trips to Savannah. So it's provides a lot of information on what to see and what to do. So that's probably why it was like so like kind of famous, I guess. So we did Savannah. I did a bunch of. I think 2023 was like the year of my roller coaster, like the roller coaster year. Like I wanted to ride more roller coasters in 2023, and I surely did that. I went. I did a series at SeaWorld. I did a series. SeaWorld has great roller coasters. We went on the Manta. We went on Kraken. We went on Mako. We did all sorts of fun and exciting like roller coasters. We also went to Busch Gardens in Tampa, and Busch Gardens in Tampa has some of the most epic coasters. Period. Like some of the hardest coasters to ride because they're just so intense. Like what is the one? Iron Gwazi. Like yeah, you had Cheetah Hunt, which is just so much fun. So we did more roller coasters in 2023. Was a more roller coaster year. It was just get out there and just live your life. And the channel started coming looking into like your life is short, life is precious, and don't put those things off that you can do now. Don't put them off. um, do them while you can. Do them, do 'em before it's, it's one of those things where you get old, you get busy, you get, take on a job that's just too much for you, and you're always busy working, and all those things that you have targeted as the good life and the goals and dreams that you have, they can disappear in a minute. So we started really appreciating and just be grateful for being around every day. Every day is a gift, and like you only get one go around. So that started in 2023, I think. Kind of a theme on the channel is do it now, don't wait. If you have a dream, go after it. You know, don't delay, because time will not. If I can move this, I guess I can move this. Move it over. It's like right on my face. What else? We also went in 2024. Was it 2024? Maybe it was 2023. 2023, I think we went to Greece. Yes, we went to Greece. And if you don't know, like my history, I'm a I'm a Greek American. My dad is from Greece. My mom is from America. And I've been to Greece a couple of times, but as an adult, you're a little more cognizant of what's happening. And we went to go introduce Amy to the family. She got to meet a lot of the like cousins and you know uncles and aunts and second cousins and second aunts and things like that. Huge family in Greece. So we flew from the U.S. And if you haven't seen that series, it's also one of my favorite series that I've kind of filmed on this channel. We went from Charleston. We flew to New York. We had like a 3 or 4 hour layover, so we went to the TWA hotel, and then from there we flew direct from JFK to Athens, and it was about a 12-hour flight, I think, flying to Athens. Um, and yeah, we went into Athens. We hired a car, a driver to take us to the village, and that was like a 3.5 hour ride. It was almost like 24 hours of travel. It was like 30 hours of travel overall. And we went and stayed in the village. This is a very remote, very like deep into the island of Evia, probably the center part of the island. Very small rural village. People are just living off of goats and chickens, and um, not a lot of cars. If you have a car, you drive it there and you park it, and everything else is walking. Everybody walks everywhere. They have olives by the hundreds of millions. They have fresh chickens, fresh eggs every day, fresh figs, lots of pomegranates, grapes, lots of grapes growing in everybody's yard. And then they had this little coffee shop where everybody just spoke Greek. Nobody knew any English. And we sat there and had coffee, and we had some water. Um, sat out underneath the trees in the shade, and we did that for like several days in Evia. We sat in this really remote village. We open up our like Google Translate app to talk to people, and it was cobblestone streets and like agri community, like very chill. You can see you can hear the roosters in the video. You can see the goats. We said hello to some sheeps and some goats in Greek. We walked to the neighboring town where the markets are and stuff. And through like back hiking trails type things. And it was spectacular. We spent a couple of days there. There's also a restaurant, like a little grill. Didn't have a menu. We just ordered a couple of things, and the food there was actually some of the best food we had on the trip to Greece. From there, we got dropped off at the train station in Halkida Station in the main city in the island of Evia, and we took the train to Athens. and literally stayed right below the Parthenon and the Acropolis, the big hill with the Parthenon. Stayed in a hotel in Monastiraki Square. We spent 2 days, like 48 hours in Greece. We did like a series within a series there. We went to all the big sites. We went to, Parthenon. We went to the Temple of Zeus. We went to the gardens. We saw the changing of the guards. We had Instagrammable coffee. We went to the Stoa Pupile, which is like the steps where Stoicism was formed. Fantastic time in Athens. We also went to from there we got a train right from Athens. It takes you right to the port. You can get right onto the cruise ship. I would recommend taking a cab from the train station to the port because it is kind of a far fall. It's like 2-3 mile walk just to get to the port, and then you have to get to the cruise terminal. So that was a mistake that we made is trying to walk to the cruise terminal. We ended up getting a cab halfway there, and I actually lost my first microphone. It was on my backpack, and it basically must have fallen off in his trunk, and didn't have that microphone for the rest of the trip, which was kind of stinky. Had one more because it was like the whole pack. And we got on the ship, and it was back to back port days. So we went from Athens, we went right to the first island. I forget which one it was. It was, I think we went right to Turkey or something. No, it wasn't Turkey. We went right to Crete, maybe. No, it wasn't Crete. It was Rhodes. We went right to Rhodes, and we went and floated on these like water beds. And then we went to this spectacular castle. I don't know. We did it. The whole series was like fantastic. We also we also went to Crete and Turkey. We went sailing in Turkey. We went snorkeling in Turkey. I lost my Apple Watch there. It is at the bottom. If you ever go out to the bay of the city there, there's an Apple Watch down there. It must have fallen off when we were snorkeling. I don't know. It wasn't. I wish I had like a clasp on it because I probably still have it on. Um, we went to Santorini. We went wine tasting in Santorini. We went to Mykonos. We walked around Mykonos. We went to the Tropicana Resort. That was like phenomenal. Um, yeah, Greece was fantastic, and we started to get our bearings and really enjoy the international travel. So our next big trip um, was Iceland. So Iceland, we wanted to do the Ring Road, and I've always wanted to do Iceland for the longest time since I was a kid. I wanted to go to Iceland because we found that a lot of the places that we've been on our journeys and on this channel, we found that like the volcanic ones are like the most alive places. And volcanoes just they literally build new ground and they're just so alive. And we flew in through Boston, and as we were flying in, we could see the volcano erupting. And man, it is like a dream to be flying into Keflavik Airport, looking out your window, and seeing lava shoot, God, some 1,000 feet into the air. This was the second eruption that they had, and it was surreal. Came into the airport, it was snowing. It was like a blizzard. It was snowing so hard, it was like ice and snow, and we couldn't find a rental car. Turns out it wasn't on the airport property. We had to take a shuttle there, so I walked over to this one car rental place, and it was the wrong one. We thought it was Blue. It was actually Ring Car Rental, which we recommend both of them. Blue is a little bit more expensive because you're right on the property, but Ring was only like a 10-minute shuttle, and the guy was waiting in the airport for us. So we did that, and then we went into the Sky Lagoon. Sky Lagoon was like fantastic, like beautiful. Best thing you can do when you get off the plane. in Iceland, just go right to the Sky Lagoon, get some coffee at Broad and Co. and go to Sky Lagoon and spend the morning doing the 7 step ritual at Sky Lagoon. It is just surreal of a place. Then we went into Reykjavik. I think if we went back again, we would skip Reykjavik and would just drive as far as we could go for the first day. And then the second day, we would probably stop along the way and see some things and then keep driving. Try to get as far over to the East Fjords and work our way back. Um, we went counterclockwise around the Iceland um, area. We went counterclockwise. So uh, when you get to, yeah, we got stuck in a blizzard too, but we went around. We went to like Skogafoss and Cellulans Foss. We went to all the fosses, and the food was spectacular there. The people were, you know, you meet a lot of Icelanders in Reykjavik. You don't meet a lot of Icelanders outside of Reykjavik unless you're in a big city. Most Icelanders live in and around Reykjavik, which is a great area. I love the roads, love the people, love the shops. We love Bonus too. If you've never heard of Bonus, Bonus is fantastic. We really liked Bonus. Um, Most of the people outside of Reykjavik are from like Europe. We found a lot of people from Portugal. We met a lot of people from like Eastern Europe, Poland, and some of the nicest people they come over for opportunity, for job opportunities. And I think that's awesome that people in Europe are just so open to moving to another location and making it their own. I feel like the world is our oyster, and they should open up borders to like allow people to put time and money into a civilization, into a culture, into the world. Like you know, welcome people here to the U.S. And go to Portugal and become like a citizen for 6 months, or try something new, like go live and learn and grow in another culture and learn the language. I feel like there needs to be more of that in the world. And as a traveler, I try to live that. We want to, as we get a little bit older, we want to try to do some longer stays, put on the brakes a little bit. We've been working for a good 25 years, and it would be nice to live for like a month somewhere, like live in Portugal, live in, do some slow travel and enjoy immersing yourself in Germany or Greece or Italy. I loved Italy. We weren't vlogging when we went to Italy, but for one of my major birthdays, we went on a cruise to Italy, and it was so much fun. The food was so delicious. I tried learning a bunch of Italian before we went there. We went to Rome and Naples and Capri. We went to Sorrento. Um, we went to Florence. Um, God, there's so many different places. We went to Cannes in France, and then we went to Spain and practiced some Spanish there and ate the tapas and sat on the beach. So much fun. We weren't videoing back then, but man, was it a good time. We were on the Norwegian Epic at the time. We took a speed ferry to Capri, had one of the best pizzas we've ever eaten in our lives, up on the mountaintop. The best like caprese salad because it's like famous from there. It's Capri. Um, Great burrata, great, just fantastic. And then so we did our Iceland trip, and coming back, we did some trips to. I think we went to Atlanta, we went to Florida, we did a Vero trip, Vero Beach, and little regional trips and stuff. And then we found out that our sweet Ellie started having seizures out of nowhere, and that's kind of what grounded us today. Is that she can't be boarded, but she has like a very strict regimen of medicine that you just don't know if they're going to do it on time or if she's going to get sick there. So we want to have the best care. So she's actually here with us. We try to take her now on vacation to pet friendly places. And, there'll be time for bigger travels in the future. We can't get her on a plane unless we do like a Bark Air. Those are like $7,000, $8,000 a person with your dog. So it's not really in the budget. But she would love it to go. We almost got her on the plane to Bahamas. We're trying to figure that out still. There's a pretty affordable seaplane type company that will take us to Bahamas. So that's still kind of in the works in the future. And we would just chill out at like an Airbnb for the weekend, or it's like a long weekend, like Thursday to Sunday. We're also helping out family now. So we're driving to New York with Ellie, trying to help our parents and just support them, try to figure out how to get them to the next stage of their lives where they can have some subtle care. Amy's texting me. Let me see. Okay, she's ready. So I'm going to end the live stream, but I want to thank everybody for 14,000 14,000 subscribers. You guys make the journey, keep me moving, keep me doing things, learning new things, exploring new places. And this is just a big thank you to you, the viewers, and just a big round of applause to all of you. And here's to 20,000. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button, hit that subscribe button. Join us on our journey. It's just a winding road of just learning and growing and living this thing we call life. And you're coming along. And sincerest thank you and appreciate all of you for commenting, saying hello, and hitting that thumbs up. Never thought 14,000 would be possible. But that being said, I've got to go and be with Ellie and Amy. We're celebrating today. We'll try to bring you along on Instagram stories, and we'll try to do some videos of our experience today. We're heading over to Wolfgang Bakery, going to get Ellie some bones, maybe some peanut butter bones, maybe some deer, venison. I don't know. It's over in Celebration. So we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for 14,000, and looking forward to the next chapter of the channel. Thanks for watching, dudes. We'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.